Drew, good to see you.
How's it going?
How is your mindset different this year when you're in a quote quarterback competition, and how much did working with Peyton Manning and some of the stuff this offseason help you as you're moving forward in your career?
I think being in a quarterback competition, and then so to say, if you were to say last year not being in one, your mindset doesn't change at all. You come in, you're going to compete, you're going to do everything you can to be the best quarterback for this team, and that's the mindset that I have right now. And it's going to be fun. I'm excited to be able to go out there and have this competition and push myself to a whole different level that maybe I wouldn't have gotten to without this. As far as working with Peyton, I think him being able to give me his time was worth a lot to my game. It was worth more than I think I'll ever realize, and I'm forever grateful for him being able to do that for me and taking the time out of his day to be able to do that. Making subtle things where I just like having more eyes on film, on technique, and hearing it from the guy that's done it the best. He did it the best for a really, really long time. Was nice to be able to have in my corner and be able to work with.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Drew, a couple for you. How were you able to block out the rumors of the Broncos activity this offseason with Stafford, maybe Watson, maybe Rodgers, maybe Fields? Was that difficult?
No. Believe it or not, no, it was not. Because I decided that I was going to develop a plan in this offseason. There were going to be really long days, but it was going to be worth every single second of it, because regardless of what happened, if I stayed here, if I left, they brought someone in, my mindset was not going to change. Wherever I went, if I went somewhere, if I stayed here, I was going to be the guy. And I put every single ounce I had into that this offseason. And being able to do that gave me zero time to be able to listen to all this stuff that, maybe one day I'll go back and read and laugh about all the things that were being said from these people that ended up being completely wrong. So.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Drew, just it's still kind of going on with Aaron Rodgers, right? So are you not even paying attention to that? And then I have to follow up on that, that the Aaron Rodgers trade rumors all out there.
Okay. No, we had a great practice today. Dove into the script that we had for the last couple of days, getting ready for this. And, I was happy with the way we played out there. And that was, my number one concern was how I was going to go out and play. And the 7-on-7 stuff we had today. I know that was it. We didn't have any full team, but we did 7-on-7, and that was my biggest thing. And that was my focus these last couple of weeks. And I kept my thing the same over these last couple of weeks, even when that stuff kind of started popping up.
And then what, anything specific you really worked on this offseason? I know you talked a little bit about it before, but was it footwork? Was it, reading? What was it specifically that you worked on?
A lot, it kind of all intertwined together. One, working on my body first, being with Landau, working with Brett Eisen, our nutritionist here, being able to start there. And then it became football really quickly after. As far as me possibly finally being in the offense that I ran the year before, was really, really fun to be able to do stuff towards that this offseason, be able to learn some more, be able to dive in, be able to go back and watch all the things that I watch now and be like, that wasn't very good. How do I make that better? What was I doing wrong? Instead of having to start over new like I did in years before, I feel, way more comfortable in this stuff that's been going on, especially just being out there today. I can feel how much more comfortable I am in it. But it also evolved into not just the mental side of it, it was the footwork stuff. Being able to do some stuff in my basement where I could do a lot of drops down there, hook a TV up, hook the laptop up, just find ways to take a ton of drops when you're in Denver in January and February when it's a little chilly outside. So managed and kind of adapted, so to say.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Drew, just a couple. Have you sort of told people around you not to apprise you of what's being said or written or what they've heard or even maybe what they're upset about? Have you talked to folks around you about that?
I wouldn't say so. I'd like to think that the reason why no one said anything to me is because those are probably my really close people in my life, and they understand that it's not worth their time either.
Okay.
Whatever happens. They know I'm working hard, and that's all they're concerned about, not what's being said here, what's being said there, what's being said here. And if anyone did say something to me, I mean, it was a zero text back or a no call back, because they probably weren't even in my really tight circle, and there was no need for me to respond.
Okay. And then from a football perspective, is there part of you that is sort of just discovering this might be the life of a quarterback off seasons like this, where you're taking your game apart and you're deciding to work on things? Maybe this is just the life of the position.
I think it is. I really think it is. And after doing it, there's zero doubt in my mind that I would like to do this for the rest of my life. And that's a lot of the reason why, I went into this. I want this team to be good. I want myself to be really good. But really, I wanted nothing to be able to look back on and regret. I was going to give everything I had this offseason before, but especially this one, to be able to come in and help this team get to the playoffs, help this city come back. It was a rough year last year with COVID and no one being at games, and just a lot of stuff got thrown our way. And I took all that from last year, put it into this one off-season plan to be able to get a little fire behind the city and this team and get this team back to where it needs to be.
But Eric,
Drew, over the final 5 weeks, your touchdown to interception ratio is better, looked more comfortable. When you look back at the film, do you see that, and did something maybe click, or do you look at your level of play toward the end of the year and see something you can build off?
Yeah, there was a lot towards that end of the year where it kind of goes back to what I said about being able to study tape this offseason and figure the things out that, maybe you weren't the best at. I started to adapt a little bit. Even Coach Shermer and Coach Shula getting more comfortable with me and what it is I'm good at. I said it a couple of times last year where, some of the plays we were running, we got a couple reps in practice, maybe one in training camp, and it was all of us out there, first time running it, and it was on a Sunday. They got more comfortable with what I liked. I got more comfortable with some things that, maybe wouldn't have been my favorite plays at the beginning of the year, but sure enough, turned out to be a really good play in my mind. We just started rolling, started clicking, and it's crazy what you can see with, quarterbacks developing, and just when you give them on time.
it's time for a few more. Go ahead.
Hey, Drew, I got a couple for you. One is, last year you didn't really have the off-season program, and when you showed up at camp, that was the time to kind of get the rhythm with everybody. Now, do you look at it as a blessing a little bit that you're able to get that head start on it this time? And then secondly, I just wondered what kind of a teammate is Teddy?
Yeah, no, that's a huge thing for us, being able to all come out here. Another thing that no one really sees because you wouldn't put it out on social media is we were making sure we got those reps and started developing even more chemistry while we were not in the facility. Everyone had to do that in the NFL with kind of what was going on, and we all got on the phone and made sure we were going to come up here and start throwing together. And same thing with even last week. It was, we all need to be here, get in here. We're going to be able to throw routes on air with these coaches. And I thought that was big for us as an offense to be able to start working that chemistry, like you said. So being able to have this, thought for a second it was kind of maybe not going to happen, but it needed to happen, and we had to get those guys in here. And I'm just grateful that everyone came up and decided to put some work in.
And then secondly, what kind of a teammate has Teddy been for you?
Oh, Teddy's been great. Today was obviously the first time meeting him in person, being that we've all had to be on Zoom again up until this point. I feel like we're going to be able to talk easily out there. It comes from, he's seen Drew play. He's seen a lot of great quarterbacks, and he's even played a lot of ball himself. He's got a lot of experience. I feel like we can both bounce things off each other now, where I don't feel like necessarily I'm the young one. I feel like I can actually talk back, even though Teddy is older than me. He's definitely older than me. He's played a couple more years than me, but I feel like I've got enough knowledge now to where I can start talking these things out, talking with him, and just being able to bounce ideas off of him, which would be nice.
Final three, George, Zach, Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Drew. I know you said you've been staying off social media and kind of staying out of that stuff, but there's also been quite a few of your teammates show some confidence in you publicly. Have you paid any attention to that, and how does that help you at all, and maybe your confidence going into this quarterback competition?
My dad will text me and he'll say, "Hey, Colin gave you some love." Pretty much, he knows that I'm not going to be the one saying it, and it'd be weird if I didn't go say something to Cortland like "appreciate you," blah blah blah, whatever it may be. I say to Cortland. So Andy will text me and be like, "Hey, Cortland showed you some love," or "Shelby showed you some love." Don't be afraid to say something to them. Just obviously, I'm not going to see it, but I do appreciate them. It's one of those things where it's a locker room. It's a tight knit locker room, and they see the work that goes on. Like you said, being off social media, not everybody really gets to see what the work has been done, but they get to see it, and I appreciate their words when it does come.
Drew, what has that work looked like this offseason? You said you've been putting in long hours throughout the entire offseason, and just what has that looked like? Who did you work with to build those plans?
There was a lot of people that came into this. Maybe one day I'll write a book about it. But as of right now, just know that there was a lot of things that went into this. A lot of people helped me that I'll forever be grateful to. Early mornings, making sure that I get in the habit of waking up at the same time, starting my day at the same time, just working a routine. That was, early film before Zoom meetings coming to lift, working in the afternoon, coming home, taking a script, taking plays I didn't like from last year, dropping them in the basement, coming out, throwing with the guys in the afternoon, and coming back, finishing more film, and then just Groundhog Day over and over again. You started meeting a lot of other people. There was a lot of work that went into it. There was a lot.
One Kyle. Okay.
Drew,
Yours.
what are next steps for Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler this year, and what's their potential after their rookie seasons they put up last year?
They have a ton of potential, without a doubt. I think the first step, then was us coming up here and starting to throw together. I mean, once that happened, us getting on the same page, them getting live catches from me, that really started to help develop, just us getting back to what we were at the end of the year, which was pretty good. I'd like to say we can be a lot better, we can be a ton better, and those guys can be a ton better, and they know it. I think with what they can do, just keep working. They both realize that they can be really, really good in this league, and are both extremely, they're not complacent, which I think is the coolest thing that I've seen from these guys. They come out and work extremely hard and, do it every single day.